Alright, shalom, shalom. First off, we have all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Yahweh being the true name of Heavenly Father, Yahushai being named for His only begotten Son, who the world eagerly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I give double honors to our apostles, double honors to our elders, a great millstone, and touch the truth will well. And salutations to you, hopefully, pushing this truth and honesty, sincerity. This is Buddy Awasap. Comes in to listen to the spirit power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai. Just a quick walk and talk lesson through the spirit. Just doing a little bit of traveling on the go, and stopped in Colorado. I'm here at Lookout Mountain, which is also the burial site of Buffalo Bill. Okay, which his full name is William F. Cody. I'm at his gravesite, and I decided to go ahead and speak on this guy. He has spearheaded some of the atrocities and the genocide of our people, so-called Native Americans. Okay, and they glorify this man, and here you can see his gravesite, man. So I wanted to kind of read a little bit of this article to kind of go into the history, just so you know some of the atrocities that Esau Edom has done. Let me go ahead and show you where I'm looking at here. Okay, now his nickname is Buffalo Bill. Okay, so the reason why he got that nickname is this guy was the first, one of the first of many, okay, to help with unaliving and getting rid of the indigenous people in this land. And the way that was done that was to kill the food source. He also served in the U.S. Army, and he helped with different attacks on natives. Okay, and this article that I'm going to read goes into it. Now, this is from the Times Magazine. Okay, and it says what the true story of Buffalo Bill reveals about the myth of the Wild West. All right, so it says Buffalo Bill is on stage engaged in fierce battle. He and his scouts are fighting ferocious groups of Cheyenne warriors. Right, so he did that, man. He fought against them. He fought against the so-called Mexicans. All right, all the indigenous people of this land. Okay, it says Buffalo Bill, dressed in elegant black velvet, lace-trimmed Mexican vaquero suit, takes aim at the Cheyenne war chief, Yellow Hand, and fires. Their chief shot dead. The Cheyenne are defeated. Buffalo Bill walks over to Yellow Hand's lifeless body, takes out a knife, and removes Yellow Hand's scalp. Buffalo Bill triumphantly raises the scalp in the air for Custer, he declares. All right, so this is one of the plays that he used to do. Okay, to basically commemorate, their victories over our people. So a lot of people come here, in tourism, and they don't know the true side of Esau Edom, the so-called white man, and things of the atrocities he's done to our people, my people. And they gave this man such a nice burial site overlooking all the land that so-called white people has stolen. This is indigenous land, So I wanted to kind of speak on it and, read a little bit more of this article. Okay, it says Cody, which is his last name, was given the name Buffalo Bill for his talent in slaughtering buffalo, which I don't know if you really call that a talent, man, because this guy just used a rifle and he just shot him, along with millions of others. They used to go on trains. All right, in the 1800s, it's estimated 40 million buffalo were slaughtered, and this guy was a part of it. And he'd also would try to retract on it later on in his life. There's some information that he did try to go into some conservation, because Esau Edom was so bad at it, they basically made bison extinct, nearly extinct. Okay, this guy, that's what was done. And him himself, he took out at least 4,000. Him, and he used a lot of the meat to feed the railroad workers, which the railroad was built for white expansion. Okay, it was a key crucial part for expansion of Esau Edom, of taking over the United States. This was not an honorable thing. Okay, and people want to come and try to honor him. However, this guy was a devil. Okay, he did that in just 18 months. He took out 4,200 buffalo, man. That's a lot. Okay, it says he got a job with the railroad company to kill buffalo in order to feed railroad workers, but quickly the work became about more than killing buffalo. It became a part of killing Indians, which is my people. You know, so it's important that we share this information, so the real knowledge is spread, because this is the year of him being exposed. Okay, it says, as American colonizers looked to expand their territory westward with the building of railroads in the mid to late 19th century, they came into direct conflict with the native people who had lived on these lands for centuries. Prime railroad territory was often prime grazing territory, and valuable resources like gold were found in places where the Sioux hunted. Okay, so it was all about taking all of this, all of it. And today, you got all these stores, they're owned by Esau. They've gathered all the silver, all the gold, all the resources have basically been depleted. And they continue to build their mansions. Driving through these mountains, man, you're going to see skyscrapers from the cities. You're going to see mega mansions in the mountains, man, big gigantic cabins, and all of that is that's wealth that's been passed down from the genocide of my people. It says valuable resources like gold were found in places where the Sioux hunted. The U.S. government had declared de facto total war against native people wherever they stood between the United States and its expansion west. The United States attacked native people in every way it could, fighting combatants on the battlefield, killing women and children in their homes, spreading disease, forcing relocation. Nothing was off limits, but still native communities fought to maintain their lands and fought well. It says in 1869, facing a protracted battle with native tribes like the Sioux, President Ulysses Grant appointed Philip Sheridan as commanding general of the army and asked him to help solve the Indian problem once and for all. Okay, it says William Sherman, who had distinguished himself as scorched earth battle tactics during Civil War, for advice. Sherman observed wherever buffalo existed that would be native people, and they would continue to fight land wherever buffalo roamed. So Sherman's advice to Sheridan was simple: remove the buffalo in order to remove the Indian. And that's what this guy Cody was used for. Okay, that's exactly what he was used for. It says Cody had gained reputation as a skilled hunter, and he went to work for the Sheridan, killing as many buffalo as he could. Men from all over the country boarded trains headed west in order to shoot buffalo with 50 caliber sniper rifles from train windows. So you want to call that, an expert hunter? That's cheating at its finest. If you want to hunt an animal, I'm all for bow and arrows. But if you got to use a rifle because you straight up need to get food, that's one thing. But this wasn't about food. It was about starving us out. Okay, and this man to this day has been glorified for these atrocities. Okay, it says they killed thousands of buffalo a day, leaving the animals' lifeless bodies where they fell on the plains to rot. Wealthy and powerful men from the East Coast, even Europe, rode west to join in on the fun, guided by Buffalo Bill Cody. Okay, and you come here to the site in this museum, they got all these different information trying to make this guy look like he was such a great dude, because it described how he orchestrated a lot of plays and acting, for and hired indigenous people for that. Well, that dude just did that because his conscience was eating him up. It doesn't make him a great man. You were part of 40 million buffaloes being killed, and then there was millions upon millions of indigenous people, my people, that died behind that shit, man. So, hey, Yahweh Bashim Al Shai is going to judge Esau Edom for what he's done with this, man. Okay? It says, as journalists traveled with the wealthy men to document the hunts for newspapers across the country, Cody saw his first real opportunity for fame. He began partnering with the authors of dime store novels and started commissioning plays about his exploits. Soon Cody was regularly traveling back and forth east to star in stage shows, and then back west to continue the wholesale slaughter of buffalo. As famous hunters like Cody popularized buffalo hunting and countless men joined in. All these advertisers popping up, man. Bear with me. Salakia, man, it lost the spot on the page. These damn ads, bro. But it says, as famous hunters like Cody popularized buffalo hunting and countless men joined in the killing, they found that they had traveled further west in search of buffalo as numbers dwindled. The excitement following the widespread slaughter of buffalo began to wane. Right, so now his pockets is getting hit. So now he needs to make a change. Okay, Cody, now having tasted celebrity, went in search of greater fame and found it in battle. An experienced scout with the U.S. Army, he signed on to join the Plain Indian Wars in 1876, announcing from the stage of one of his shows that he was leaving the play acting in search of real thing. He packed his costume and went to war. It says opportunity struck a little over a month after Cody joined the 5th Cavalry in southern Wyoming. A small band of Cheyenne warriors had been spotted heading west in pursuit of 2 U.S. military couriers. Cody gained permission from his superiors to take a small group of fighters to engage the warriors. Before leaving, Cody changed out of the typical sturdy, rough clothing that the rest of the cavalry wore and into his costume, dressed in black value pants and a red silk shirt trimmed with silver buttons. Cody rode out to meet fame and fortune. The fight itself was unextraordinary, lasting only a few minutes. But after Cody killed Cheyenne warrior Hey Oway, whose name means yellow hair, Cody scalped the dead warrior and took his war bonnet and weapons as trophies. According to Cody, he thrust the scalp in the air and shouted, "The first scalp for Custer." Nobody else at the skirmish remembered him doing that. None of the warriors of the men fought had been in the Battle of Bighorn, known as Custer's Last Stand, or had likely ever encountered the revered General George Armstrong Custer. Within a week of his killing Yellow Hair, exaggerated stories, Cody's bravery under fire began to reach the newspaper, right? And so fast forward today, all those actions Esau Edom glorifies, okay? And you can see all of this land, man, and you see all these houses and these buildings, these skyscrapers, these cities. All this is done by stealing the land of my people. So to hell with this damn devil, man. I came here to this spot, to edify and bring out, the truth about this so-called white man and how far he will go. He will cause an animal to become extinct just to kill us as a people. And look how beautiful this place is, man. It's a shame that it's all got to be torched and burned by the judgment of the Lord. The Lord said he's going to send fire, a lake of fire on all of this. Because the only way it can be cleansed is by fire. Because the other way is by cleansing, is by the blood of him that shed it, the roughly paraphrasing, which we'll grab those precepts as well, man. But this is what has gone on, over here in this nation, man. And this was just a couple hundred years ago, mind you. Now today you have all this stuff here. You got Esau Edom, the so-called white man. They come here and they tour this place, and this is their pride and joy. But it came at the suffering of my people. Which so-called Native American people, those are the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. All right, those are the true God's chosen people. So there has to be a lot to pay for what's been done here. Okay. Esau is not going to get away with this. All right. Let's grab some precepts. All right. Alright, this is the book of Numbers 35 and 33. It says, "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it." Okay, so you can't cleanse the land except by the blood of him that shed it. So this is why there's going to be a lake of fire that's going to hit Babylon the Great, aka America. So if you see all these mountains, all these towns, all these cities, if you can picture it, when those missiles come flying in from the sky, different mushroom clouds coming up from the earth, from thermonuclear destruction, this is going to be punished. This is going to be punished for all this, man. When I'm walking right now, there has been Gadite blood that has been shed. Okay? Esau, Edom, has to pay for what he's done. Alright, this is the book of Isaiah 14 and 21, and it says, "Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities." Okay, so we all have to pay for the iniquities of our fathers. So what was done to the indigenous people, which are Hebrew Israelites, Gadites, Reubenites, Judites, Ishkarites, all the tribes lived in these lands. What was done, a slaughter has to be prepared for that. And the Lord's going to do it when he judges this place with fire and brimstone. It's going to be similar to Sodom and Gomorrah, but it's going to be on steroids, man. You know, and there's going to be a great deliverance of the Lord's chosen people before that takes place. But you see, all of this, you know, as beautiful as it is, the Heavenly Father is not pleased with the bloodshed that has happened to our people. And he's going to restore everything the way it's supposed to be. You know, when the judgment day comes, this whole earth is going to be shifted. There's going to be a great earthquake. You're going to have new continents. It's going to come out. There'll be new mountains. You know, so a lot of Gadites that might have lived in this land may miss places like this and seen it, but the Lord is going to give you a lot more, and it's going to be much better. You got places in Israel, in the Holy Land, that look similar to this. You know, but there has to be consequences to the actions that has taken place here. This is the book of Nahum 1 and 3. Okay, it says, "The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind and the storm, and the clouds of the dust of his feet." You know, right? So a lot of natural disasters are beginning to come, man. You're going to hear accounts of tornadoes ripping through places like this, wildfires, earthquakes, okay, floods. All these things is the Lord's wrath. It says, "not at all acquit the wicked." So Buffalo Bill did not get away with shit. And he's back, by the way. He's back, okay? Because you come back every third to fourth generation. And, you know, he passed away, I believe, around 1900, if I'm not mistaken. So there's been plenty enough time for him to have multiple generations from his seeds to where he's back walking around somewhere. He's probably some politician, some state governor, could be a senator. Hell, could have been one of the presidents. You know, by his track record. You know, this is Esau, Edom. Okay? Alright, this is the book of Revelation 13 and 10. "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints." So the saints are the prophets of the Lord's men, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, that's out here laboring doing lessons like this at the highways and hedges. We are patiently waiting for the payback. Okay? He that led in captivity, which this guy, I guarantee you, took native slaves in. If he was fighting them in war, the slaves were taken too. That was part of the program back then. You know? "He that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity." So he's going into slavery. "He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." So everything he done to our people, he must be killed with the sword for it. All the unnecessary killing of innocent animals and bison to starve us out, he must pay for that. Okay? It says, "Here is the patience and the faith of the saints." You know, so, hey, fuck Buffalo Bill, man. You know? You know, fuck Buffalo Bill, man. You know? Fuck you and what you did to our people, man. Ain't nobody proud of this shit. And all these damn monuments they got over this place in Colorado, the Lord's going to judge. You know, this shit got me fired walking past this nigga's grave, bro. You know, he doesn't deserve no type of honoring remembrance, but this Esau, you know, he take care of his own, man. He does. So he's gonna have memorials and stuff like this set up. But ultimately, man, hey, this devil has a very long track record. This is one of the many atrocities that was done to our people. And he did all that shit and then made a fucking play behind it and made money acting, you know, reenacting the genocide he did to our people. And you motherfucking devils, man, you Esau Edom, you made this motherfucker a goddamn museum up here, man. Like, look at this shit. Look at this shit, man. Let's walk in here so y'all can see. And I ain't paying this fucking money to go in here to see this shit, because this is money going into, you know, this guy's descendants' pockets. All this land and stuff he got as an inheritance. He was buried here. This means he owns a lot of this shit. You know, we can walk here, we can look and overlook all, you know, how vast these cities are. And that's a spirit right now. In the distance, I can see a lot of black smoke. And remember, I told y'all, one of these days, you're gonna see thermonuclear destruction. Remember I said that? Look at this. Can y'all see that? You see this black smoke off in the distance? That's an omen. Soon, one day, you're gonna see hundreds of mushroom clouds, thousands of them, from missiles that's gonna just straight up litter the land out here. Boom, 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 boom. Right there where I'm aiming at there, that's downtown Denver. It's gonna be gone, bro. All this shit gone, man. And it's gonna be cleansed. The land cannot be cleansed but by the blood of him that shed it. And he shed our blood of our people, man. Look at this shit. Let's go in here and see this, man. Museum entrance. You see? Esau is mocking us, man. Mocking us as a people. You know, and it's the Lord, man. It's the Spirit, because it wasn't my intention coming this way. I was actually going to go to Pikes Peak, but I've been there a few times, and it's a little bit more of a drive for me, and I just don't have the time to make it. So the Lord set me here, you know, to condemn this place. Look at this, man. You know, he's got paintings of our people here. Like, look how he portrayed Issachar, man. All of it's a fucking joke. You know, got Jake here. This is, I guess, supposed to be the Japheth, the Hawaiians. You know, all these people had a part in coming over here to this land and getting a piece of the pie. Okay, you got the Arabs, which they are the ones responsible for building the slave ships for the transatlantic slave trade, putting y'all over here. You know, you see this devil's painting here. Okay, and then there's our people. Gad. You got Issachar, also our people. Cowboy, which is the original cowboys were Jake's, you know, so-called Latinos and so-called Negroes. Then you got the cavalry. You got the cavalry here, Esau. You know, you got all these, man. The Irish Lancers was Irish, or actually Jakes. Those are, I believe, those are a lot of Benjamites and Judites. You know, but this is the museum, man. Okay, and it's really, when you think about it, you know your history. You know what time it is, man. This is really a museum of genocide of our people, man. So, hey, Esau Edom, man, he's got to pay for all this, man. He's got to pay for all this, and he will. We read the scriptures about it. He will, man. You know, so Lord's will, this walk and talk lesson was edifying. But I'm going to go ahead and close out and give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Tasha Truth and Will, and salutations to you, hopeful like pushing this truth and honest sincerity. Shalom.